how can we bring those passions we felt as children into our lives today? How can we design the next chapter of our lives with intention? Welcome to the Midlife Reinvention Podcast, a podcast helping women in career and life transitions achieve clarity on their next steps so they can transform uncertainty into an energizing next chapter. I'm your host, Kavita Ahuja, and the founder of It's My Time Now Coaching. If you're wondering what's next in your career or life, you are in the right place. Through solo and guest episodes, you'll gain practical tips, tools, and inspiration to help you uncover blocks, gain confidence, and be, do, and have what you want. I rediscovered myself after the age of 50, and I know you can too. It's my time now to help you do just that. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Are you feeling stuck, wondering what's next in your career or personal life? Do you struggle to connect with what truly excites you? As time seems to fly by, many of us reach a point where we question our current paths and crave a deeper sense of fulfillment. In this episode, we dive into the challenge of finding your passions and designing an intentional life. If you've been feeling a sense of restlessness or uncertainty about your next steps, this discussion will resonate deeply with you. Discover how to align your career with your true passions, even if you have multiple interests or aren't sure where to begin. In this episode, you will learn how to identify and reconnect with the passions you had as a child and why this matters in your journey today. Discover the second step in uncovering your Ikigai or reason for being, helping you align your life and career with what you love. And get practical exercises to identify your green activities or things that energize you and understand how they can guide your future decisions. So tune into this episode now to learn how to uncover what you truly love and start building the intentional, fulfilling life that you deserve. Welcome to another episode of the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. I hope you're doing really well. It's so hard to believe we are in mid-November, isn't it? And it's now beginning to feel like the holiday season is almost upon us, especially with the U.S. Thanksgiving around the corner and the cool air moving in. I personally am so excited about it. What about you? I was thinking about the passage of time today and crazy how life can just go by, isn't it? I went wedding shopping with my sister and niece yesterday for my niece's upcoming wedding in the spring, and it just hit me. How did the time pass? I remember her as a little girl, always so curious and talkative and sweet, and those qualities have not changed. That made me think also of a few very important things. One is, how can we live a more intentional life? Time passes by so quickly, and are we doing those things in our life that we are really passionate about? If not, why not? And secondly, how can we bring those passions we felt as children into our lives today? Just like I witnessed my own nieces and nephews and my own children and even myself as a child. How can we design the next chapter of our lives with intention? I'm excited to get into this with you today, but before I do, I'd like to take a moment to thank my listeners from 3 locations around the world, and I will continue to do so in subsequent episodes, so you can understand that the challenges and dreams that you are facing are felt by people all over the world. So today, I'd like to thank my listeners from Washington, D.C., Munich, Bavaria, and Amsterdam, North Holland. How cool is that? Thanks for listening, my friends, and I don't take it lightly that you are here. I would love it if you could share this podcast and send me a rating and review through Apple Podcasts. It goes such a long way to getting more exposure to even more listeners worldwide. I am learning every day also from each of you and from my incredible guests, And through this podcast, it is an avenue and a way that I can reach my mission of empowering 1 million women worldwide to uncover their reason for being and living their next chapter of life to the absolute fullest. For today's episode, I want to continue the podcast series where I address your specific challenges, which you have shared with me personally. If this resonates with you, please share with me, what is your main challenge right now? I will address each and every challenge here. Think of them as live and free coaching just for you. I've gone through each and every challenge that you have shared with me, and a lot of them are coming from my career and life fulfillment quiz. If you haven't taken the quiz yet, now is the time to do it because I will address your specific questions here. I have placed the general themes of these challenges into buckets, and I will continue doing this until the bucket is empty. But I suspect that won't be for a while. As I talked about earlier, today's challenge is about living an intentional life, finding our passions, and how that can form the basis of how we live our lives. Specifically, today's challenge is, how do I discover what to do next in my career and life? How do I discover what to do next in my career and life? Here are some specific quotes from women who have approached me on this topic. There's one quote. I don't know what I want to do next in my career. If I were to lose my job, I don't know what I would want or be able to do next. Another one. I'm not sure I understand my one passion, and I have many interests, but not sure if this could be a basis for a career change. And the third, I don't know what I want to do next in my career. So do these quotes from other women who have reached out to me sound like a challenge that you may be facing? I have been addressing different challenges in my solo episodes and will continue to do so. And in order to address them, I will answer them by reviewing a specific roadmap and framework for you, which will help you understand exactly how you can find out what to do next in your career and life. This is the same roadmap I take my clients through, and it's called the Pyramid of Reinvention. I will share elements of this with you in this podcast and those that follow. I want you to know that sharing this framework is available to you and in detail through my online course called It's My Time Now. And in this course, I give you the exact steps I went through to reinvent my life, where I'm now so motivated and so excited to get up every morning. I'm also pleased to share that as a special bonus for a Black Friday coming up in the US, I'm offering my online course, It's My Time Now, at 25% off the regular rate of $495 US. This offer is valid now and only until midnight on Friday, November 29th. So this course contains all my comprehensive tools and exercises, which I take my clients through on the Pyramid of Reinvention. And it is available to you at the low rate of $375 only until November 29th. All you have to do is email me at support@itsmytimenowcoaching.com. That's support@itsmytimenowcoaching.com. And you will get the discount and a personalized login. It really is such a small fee for comprehensive tools which you may implement right now to help you figure out your next steps. So back to your challenge. How do I discover what to do next in my career and life? I love this question because, as I said earlier, it's so important to live our lives with intention. Often we go through life with blinders on, or we're just going through the motions. We fall into everyday routines, which we just get comfortable with, and time just goes by. In episode 149, I spoke about a lack of fulfillment in what we are doing, and that often creates unrest and causes us to ask the question, what's next? Finding the answer to that question, what's next, should also be deliberate. I have many clients who come to me because they are frustrated. They may have tried one job and then the next, for example, but for some reason or other, these changing their jobs just don't stick. They remain unmotivated or are not happy with these new jobs or new circumstances. For example, maybe they have moved cities in the hope that their internal unrest will change. Often things do improve temporarily, but most likely these things won't stick, unfortunately. Why? Because they have not taken the time to deliberately determine if their next step aligns with who they are. You need to take the time, my friend, and space to really dig deep into your why before making changes in your life. I led a workshop last week where I talked about the difference between transition and change. Often we think that we can fix things by changing the situation, such as switching our jobs or moving to new cities or finding a new partner. Often changing these situations won't fix everything because we haven't gone to the root cause of, for example, your lack of fulfillment to begin with. I love this quote from William Bridges, who is the author of the book Transitions, Making Sense of Life's Changes. And he says, without a transition, a change is just a rearrangement of the furniture. Unless transition happens, the change won't work because it doesn't take. So how do we make sure that the changes we make take, or how do we intentionally design the next thing? As I've shared before, and I will share again with you here today, it is by living a life which follows your Ikigai, or reason for being. This term Ikigai is a Japanese term for reason for being, as I said, and it originates in the Japanese village of Okinawa, which is one of the world's blue zone, or area in the world with the largest number of 100-year-olds or centenarians live. If our work aligns with our reason for being, that brings forth so much positive or anabolic energy in our lives, which allows us to see more opportunity, more possibilities, and which also gives us a greater confidence in ourselves and motivation to take steps to change the situation we are in and to go after what we truly want. So, how do we find our Ikigai? I will take you today through the second step in finding your Ikigai, which is to find your passions. If you missed the first step, go back to episode 149, where I take you through the first step of finding your Ikigai, which is how to discover what you are good at. Just to review, to discover your Ikigai, you must first identify what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. And Ikigai can be found at the point at which these four elements converge. This is represented in a Venn diagram, and if you're interested in receiving this Venn diagram and the subsequent exercises to determine your Ikigai, you can email me at support@itsmytimenowcoaching.com, and we can send it to you. So step one of finding your Ikigai is to rediscover your strengths, or what you're good at. And I went through that in episode 149. And so again, if you missed it, go back to the episode and complete the exercises I shared with you. Now we are going to figure out the next step in finding your Ikigai, which is, what are you passionate about? Or what do you love to do? You'll remember that one of the challenges I shared, a quote I shared with a client who came to me was this: how do I find the one thing that I'm passionate about? I would say that we can be passionate about many things, and it is not necessarily just one thing. Usually, however, you will find a theme to what you're most passionate about, and that is what you should incorporate in your Ikigai. So, how do we find our passions? What do we love to do? Often there's a disconnect between what our top skills and strengths are and what we love to do. For example, you may have listed when you did these strengths exercises that maybe your top skill is that you're great with numbers. Maybe your profession is an accountant, and over the years, you've honed the skill of working with numbers to perfection. However, you may not be passionate about numbers, and in fact, you may love instead to paint or draw or be an artist of some sort. Disconnect can often cause frustration or anxiety or worry or feelings of dissatisfaction with what you're currently doing in your life. Think about what you were passionate about as a kid. I love this anonymous quote, and I'm sorry I'm giving so many quotes today, but I just love this quote. And it says it says the following: take a break from being an adult. Can you remember wearing your new shoes on the first day of school? Playing hide and seek at dusk? Thinking everyone over 20 was really old? A million mosquito bites and sticky fingers? Pedaling your bike as fast as you could? Pillow fights? Goodnight kisses? All those things are so amazing to think about. And For example, as a kid, I will tell you I was passionate about one thing, which was interviewing others. In fact, I would run around with a fake microphone pretending I was a reporter and asking everyone in sight silly, but I have to admit, creative questions. I would always take those interviews and write articles about what I discovered. I forgot about that until recently, and now, guess what I'm doing? Interviewing women for my podcast using a real microphone. So, here are some of the questions I'd like you to reflect on as you complete the second circle of your Ikigai diagram, or what you love. If you're able to, take out a journal right now and take some time to answer the following questions. If not, return to this when you are able. Again, if you want a copy of this exercise and the Ikigai diagram, you can email us at support@itsmytimenowcoaching.com. So reflect on the following questions honestly and with no judgment or preconceived notions of what the right answer should be. So here's the first question. If you had no limitations on time, money, beliefs, or process, what are the 5 things you would do? What would make your heart sing or jump out of bed every morning? Second question. For each of the 5 things you listed above, describe why you would love to do these things and how these things make you feel when you're doing them. What about these activities brings you joy? And the third question. If you think about your current work or what you're currently doing to fill your time, which tasks can you get so involved that you wonder where the time went when you finished them? And number 4, if you could design your own job, what would it be? Who would you be serving and why? For example, think about what your ideal job would look like. When I thought about what my ideal job would look like, I knew it would be something where I was not tied down to a 9-to-5 office environment and where it would be a job that would allow me the flexibility of working from anywhere. It would involve helping women and building communities. So do those 4 questions and a couple of more exercises you can do. The first one is, look back at your memorabilia. Those are old photos or letters or yearbooks of when you were, for example, a child of 8 years old. Remind yourself who you used to be. What sort of kid were you? And what excited you? What did you want to be when you grew up? Another exercise is to look at activities which energize you, or green activities, and those that deplete your energy, or red activities, and make a note of those in the next week. For example, my top 5 green activities are, number 1, coaching my clients. 2 would be writing. 3 would be working on this podcast. 4 would be my morning routine of meditation, journaling, and exercising. And 5 would be spending time with family and friends. My top red activities are paying bills, grocery shopping, cleaning the house, figuring out what to make for dinner, and looking at my finances. It's obvious that sometimes we have to include red activities in our life because they are necessary. But is there a way to reduce these activities or make them more enjoyable? How do we increase the green activities more in our life? For example, maybe you hate doing your finances or your taxes and you actually dread it. Is it more valuable for you to have someone else do this so you can focus on activities which increase your energy levels? Something to think about as we design our lives moving forward. So make a note of the main things in these exercises that come up for you and that you are passionate about, and populate the second circle of the Ikigai diagram with the words that resonate the most. And next time, we will continue on with filling the rest of the diagram. Thinking about your passions and how you can bring those more into your life moving forward. Once you see the overlaps or the sweet spot in the center, which is your Ikigai or reason for being, you will realize that by incorporating these things in your life, you will be more motivated, energized, and excited about what you do if you incorporate this into your life. So I hope this was helpful for you, and let me know if you enjoyed this exercise, and please continue to share your challenges with me. The best way to do this is to complete your career and life fulfillment quiz today, which is in the show notes, which will give you a score on how fulfilled you are in your career and life and what you can do about it today. And remember, if you like these exercises and want a comprehensive guide to work on your own pace, take advantage of my Black Friday offer at 25% off my online course, It's My Time Now, till November 29th only. Again, email me at support@itsmytimenowcoaching.com, and I will send you the discount code and login details. Thank you for listening, my friend. And remember, you can find your passions, and that will be a clue to helping you find your reason for being, and therefore living a life with intention, not letting life live you. So then, my friend, till next time, stay well and stay passionate.